Welcome back to What's New in Microsoft Intune. This is the edition of 2401 and 2402. And Nikolai, it's been a while since we were on YouTube last time, but it has its reasons, and maybe you could give us some insights.
Yeah, I think you can, if you look around, the setting where I'm coming from is not as it used to be in the other videos, and it's simply due to the reason that I moved to a new house. And yeah, sure, there's traces of boxes everywhere. I haven't really unpacked yet. Still deciding what to do. At least what's most important here has been put up already. Yeah, that's where we are. I moved.
That's amazing. So it's
I
so.
think also we can say that you have been very busy with other sort of engagements, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, we do have this upcoming Paris event, MEM Summit 2024, where we are going to launch. It's already next week. Oh my goodness. We are very close. Look very much forward to it. I think this year it exploded kind of a bit with many more speakers and an extra day and stuff. So really excited about what's happening in Paris next week.
Nice.
If you have not,
yeah, I can't wait for it. It's gonna be amazing. I've never been to Paris either, so
well, that's 2 for 1.
2 for 1 for sure. But let's get into it, right? We're not
Absolutely
here to talk about what we have been up to. We're here to talk about what's new in Intune 2401. It's a little bit ago. It's the January release. Not the most exciting release, perhaps, if we start off with that. The first sort of major topic is that, or major should I not say, but we can now have support for store-signed LOB apps when we're talking about Surface Hub devices. Could you walk us through that, Matthias? What's it all about?
Yeah, we know a while back the Store for Business was deprecated, and there was some what you could say abilities in there that wasn't part of the new integration of the API into Intune. So the offline app deployment was lacking a little bit for the Surface Hub devices. So now Intune supports that you can bring in the license for the software and then deploy it to your Surface Hubs. So it's a step up in the right direction. Something we had before now was deprecated, and now we have the availability in Intune again. So lovely to see.
Good to see for those out there who actually need those offline applications. Yeah.
How many Surface Hubs do you manage, Nikolai?
Myself, not many. We have a dedicated team for it. But how many? I think it's still in the proof of concept stage. But maybe 10, 20-ish, somewhere around the world. Yeah. Not that many.
Same level here.
They are cool devices, though, I have to say that.
Absolutely cool devices. But yeah, there's not much management on it, is it? It's rather unmanaged because of the Surface Hub is managing itself.
Yep. Yeah. But you want them in Intune anyway, right?
Always. Everything should be in Intune.
For sure. Let's get on to the next one. So there's been an update to the maximum app package size, and that's for Win32 apps, right?
Indeed it is, and we know that we had this maximum limit on 8 gigs, or at least that was the standard for these kind of apps. And you could create a support case, and then you could have up to, was it 32 gigs of space for these apps. Now that is not needed anymore. The package size is now exchanged to 30 gigs. So you can start upload your large packages. Well, it still needs to come down over the internet, so be careful.
Yeah, for those applications, right? It's a good approach to implement a good content delivery strategy, and deduplication of any kinds in terms of like DO and those kind of technologies, to have that in place and helping you out with really large applications like that. But that's good, right? Because previously we would have to use wrappers, put them on let's say custom storage accounts or anything similar to that, where the wrapper would go fetch the content and download and install. And yeah, you could get into a smooth process with that and get it to work. But I think this is an overall good improvement, so that we can cover those really extremely large apps. Maybe not all of them at this point, but hopefully in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Good step.
Yep. And there's a new device management experience in Intune, right?
Indeed there is. Indeed there is. And for this, we need to have a short look back into what did it look like before. And that's the good thing about creating YouTube content, isn't it? Because you can't really choose and pick between the UI implemented from the team. So a little pick into how it looked like. For the device overview, we had like this Intune involved devices. I've never used it very much. And yeah, the team simply did something here to make it better, you could say. And I like these boxes actually to click into it. Of course, you can navigate in the left menu, but also you get the vital data here on the start page. And yeah, you can really look into your Windows 365, see the trend of how it's going in your environment. You can see the vital of your Windows Update rings if you have conflicts or errors. Your policy did not apply. You could have configuration profiles with error and conflicts as also good, and non-compliant devices. It's just here, right? So I think it's a good improvement overall.
I don't think I've ever seen a tenant where there is all devices are currently compliant.
No, but
at least not one in production.
So this is my production, right? So it's working cool. Really smooth.
Yeah, I think this is an overall really good improvement. But I think, like we mentioned in the previous videos, I would like to have this sort of like the Azure dashboard, right? I would like to customize this towards my experience, what I'm interested in. Because it could be that we don't have cloud PCs. Well, I'm not sure if that's not lit up then, or if it's just hidden or anything like that, right? I think that would be, I mean, for instance, connected frontline cloud PCs. Why is that so much more important if I don't even have the license, right? I mean, maybe the next version of this could be that sort of customization of dashboard kind of view. I think that would be beneficial for sure. But overall, absolutely, I'm so excited as though that the icons are back in the left menu. That's good.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
And Nicola, for that kind of feedback, we need to provide it here, right? It's not enough just to send them the YouTube video link.
Could be. We could do that. Hey, look at this video. We have some feedback for you.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's quite cool. You can actually view the tour here, and then it's going to tell you about the insights and what they thought about and what they changed, etc. So that's.
I like it. It's getting to that point where it actually starts to feel like a mature, maybe not the word that I'm looking for, but a better thought through workflow and experience and such, instead of just cramming up data there that is not really useful. Like you said, that you didn't use those, look at the graphs or tables before and such. So that's good.
Yeah, for sure.
What's next? Well, it's a Defender update, Matthias, one of your favorites, right?
Absolutely my favorite. And the thing is now that this new is just not for Intune, it's also for MDE managed devices. So now we can finally do Defender update control policies for devices that are not managed by Intune, but only by MDE. And you might see or have seen how that works, where your device is onboarded to MDE, and then you can actually get it into your Intune portal without it being enrolled into Intune and still target it. So this drawing just highlights how that is working. But definitely, if we go into the endpoint security blade and into the antivirus, and we take the Windows 10, Windows 11, and Windows Server, then the Defender update control, that's very much the policy here that has been updated. And this view here is also very brand new. It has a couple of bugs with it, and I'm going to show you here in the drop-down what I mean. I would like to know exactly what I'm setting here instead of me guessing. It's like, why can't I have the full name? It might be fine that, well, I hover over this one and then it gives me the full name, because it is pretty long, but yeah, definitely some room for improvement in the UI here. But
why
yeah,
was it not listed like this to begin with?
yeah, that's a good question. That's a really good question. But
way better, UX experience.
Exactly, yeah. And still, I'm not seeing the whole thing right. So cycle configuration settings, yeah, that's what is missing. So it's actually showing you what's missing from. It's not even okay. Yeah, some room for improvement, I said. Well, and then I can go ahead. I can assign it, and then yeah, manage how my Defender is updating its 3 different updates. So that's pretty neat. And the whole endpoint security blade is actually utilizing this new way of UI now. And I think, well, it
That's
looks
part
like,
of the React sort of new experience, right? When they
yeah,
switch Angular to React.
it sort of looks like the M365 admin portal and
Yeah.
how that works. So I think they are aligning, and that's just cool.
That's good, making it easier for everyone. That's
Absolutely.
perfect. And then moving straight into reports for devices. What's new there?
That's not really something new. It's also the UI that changed, and maybe you saw me going through the tour before. And what it did, it actually got me to the monitoring here. And what's new here is that we get this category, and it's colored. So it's quite easy to find compliance policies or compliance monitoring reports. So they are kind of grouped now in the same color, and then I really love that, because it gives me exactly what I need. I need something with updates. Well, I go for this color, and I'll just read only what is within that color, instead of going through the whole monitoring page every time.
Yeah, this is I like this personally. I think this is so much easier on your eyes, instead of sitting there remembering where in the list is the one that you needed to do, and then you need to go look at all the text and then read it. I mean, being able to filtering out, or at least visually get a glance of, this has nothing to do with what I'm looking at right now. Oh, this is the one updates, for instance. I think that's good. I mean, more of this overall in the portal, that would be great, I think.
Yeah, indeed.
And kind of the same topic, right? Export report data.
Absolutely.
Now maintain your search results. That's
And
good.
I mean, that's really good. And if we go into one of the monitoring reports here, we can click directly from the overview. I would have now 3 kind of policies that would have some kind of conflict on my environment. So what this is really just a matter of quality when you export, because beforehand, when I then filtered something here and I clicked export, I would just get the whole thing. It wouldn't use my filtering here. It would simply just take whatever I had in the menu, and well, then the filter would only work for the UI here and not for the export. So what's new? is that you can't see what I'm sharing right now because it's in a separate Excel spreadsheet, but let me just share that one.
Drum rolls, the excitement is building up. Let's look at Excel.
Yep. And here you see it. It simply exported my one and only filtered configuration profile I wanted.
That's how it should have been from the start, right? I mean, it's great it's there now, but that's one of those small things that really tends to annoy you a lot when you're like using the portal. Okay, I found the stuff that I want. Okay, I need to export it. Boom, you got all the data anyway. So then you need to go do it again. I mean,
and the other thing is that it just took longer to actually export your data. You didn't want all that data from the beginning.
No. That's good. And I think that basically wraps up what's new in the January release. Should we jump straight into February?
Absolutely.
Cool. So there's been some updates to the Intune management extensions on Windows, which sound pretty cool. Yep. Do you know which one it is? Because I've already forgotten about it. It's so long ago.
Updated Intune management extension for Windows. Well, yes, that is indeed for .NET. So the thing is here that it's kind of telling you that you should proceed to get higher versions of .NET because, well, Intune extension is going to support that. It's also maybe a call of, hey, don't stay on older .NET versions because, yeah, that's a long time ago. We supported 4.7.2, for example. So get going on upgrading your .NET and make sure that you stay supported. That's kind of the message, right?
I think it's pretty clear in the text there. I mean, if you look at it, Windows 10, 1809, RS5. Remember those RS references back in the days? That feels like ages ago.
Yeah.
I could never figure out which one, RS4, 5, 6, 3, whatever it was. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't know. It made no sense to me. So that's nice. Absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. Patch. That's the recommendation here. And moving on, we have some assignment filters updates to the EPM policies. That's good. I get the feeling that there's like not much, but we have recently been looking into start using Intune for our Mac OS devices, and there's a bit of lacking of filter usage on a few policy types. So anything with filters where it comes in and it can be applicable, I think that's a huge improvement overall. Absolutely.
And in the beginning, well, the rules here weren't supporting filters, and that was communicated clearly. But it's a matter of, do you want to wait for the filters to be there, or do you want the product to be able to test it? What comes first? Well, you can assign things, right, without a filter, but the filter is quite good and is quite nice to have. Now it's here, now it's ready for you to use it.
Yep, absolutely. And this may be it's not as important as for macOS. I mean, from our testing, for instance, it's been like day and night in between making use of the virtual group and filters versus using Entra ID groups when it's targeting stuff for the macOS devices. So I mean that's the aim that we are going towards of using that. So more filters for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Nobody never thought that I would say that, but
oh, that's good.
Cool. Good stuff. Yeah. Expanding the capabilities of EPM, that's always perfect.
Yeah.
And now you can have 20 custom ADMX and ADML administrative templates in the import section there. That's a good increase in the numbers, I think. I don't remember what the previous was. Was it 10 or
Yeah, I don't remember either,
Yeah.
but I believe it was 10. But who needs it, really? We have settings catalog.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it, but I assume I haven't reached that previous limit, at least in our environment. But I can imagine that there are perhaps people out there creating their own ADMX stuff for managing, I don't know, line of business applications that they have built or whatever it may be, right? And the more we can make use of it, I think that opens up possibilities for people to go cloud native, hopefully. So it's the small thing that counts, right? When you add them all up, the overall, it's just a major improvement.
Yeah, right now I actually have an example with Citrix where we need to implement some SSO to the Citrix platform, and that's an import of an ADMX file because it's not in the settings catalog. So yeah.
I mean, and Citrix is just a good example, right? There's others. There's Adobe and Firefox and whatever not that you might want to have. So
exactly,
it's definitely a good improvement for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is maybe a bit of a hot potato with all the Copilot going on right now and the announcement that came out last week and such. But you now also have the capability of turning it off specifically for Windows, and that's the built-in Copilot to Windows 11 that has been announced some time back. You could do it before with custom OMI, but now it's simply just there, available in the settings catalog for you to, controllable or perform a controllable sort of rollout and usage within the organization instead of just boom, it's all for everyone. So I think these are the sort of feedback items that we have said so many times over and over again to Microsoft, that it's great with all the new stuff. We really want to encourage our users to use it where it makes sense, but we need to be able to control what makes sense and when it makes sense in our environment, right? When we are ready for it. Just don't push everything onto the users, because it could, completely overwhelm help desk with unnecessary call volumes, right? So I like these small things. It's a small change, but it's indeed something that's necessary.
Yeah, AI all over the place, right? And this is just a small step, and it's really important to see that this is a user policy. So you need to target your users with it, it's simply removing the Copilot icon on the taskbar there, and that's basically what it does. But if you don't have Copilot, it's just using Bing Enterprise Chat, isn't it? So.
Yeah.
I doubt how much you actually get out of disabling Copilot for Windows. And from what I've read for the next release of Windows on the internet is that, well, AI is just being built more and more into the Windows operating system. So whether if we can escape it or not, I believe not.
I don't think it's about escaping it, really. I think it's more about being in control of when you have the sort of time or resources or the desire, really, to start rolling it out for your users. I mean, when you have understood what it means, when you have gone through all the potential assessments and legal stuff and whatever it might be, it's good that you have that power, I think. And absolutely, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be maybe an AI will sit here and record these videos in the future, and we can just type in some text and tell it what to say. And our faces will just magically appear. I don't know. Who knows, right? It's certainly interesting. It's we don't know what's going to happen, but having the control, I really like that.
Exactly. Spot on, Nikolai. It's a matter of control. We want control, even living in the cloud. So, yeah,
absolutely.
spot on.
And moving on to Windows Autopilot. So the self-deploy mode is now generally available.
Wow.
Should we say finally?
Oh, wow. Wow.
Kind of like the same with pre-provisioning that went GA some time back, right?
I think it's the same, right? So user-driven and pre-provisioning. Yeah, it's GA, both of them.
Woohoo!
So I remember looking back, who remembers the white glove? It was actually Michael Niehaus that published this.
2019, wow.
Yeah, 2019. And look at the Windows here, with Windows 10, 1903.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time really flies.
Exactly.
And that's Simon over there, and Brad. Yeah, the endpoint cell. Oh, this brings back memories. For sure.
Uh-huh. User-driven mode for hybrid Azure AD join. Yeah,
There we
okay.
go. That's what we recommend, right? Don't do that.
Yeah, it's just fun to look back, right? Where are we now? And this is this was brand new hot potato back then. And now we are finally GA on the self-deploy mode and the pre-provisioning mode. So that took some time.
Amazing. Good that it's now in GA at least.
A question, Nicola. Are you using the self-deploy mode anywhere?
No.
Nope. No kiosk devices?
We have an idea, but it's more about what we would like to see with the upcoming changes to Autopilot in terms of having a kind of multi-option choice capability for the technician building a type of device, so that instead of really trying to separate a device backend if it's going to be built like this or that. Do you remember the sort of device categories that were like really boom in the face of the user during the user provisioning or just brought up in the company portal? It's good that you can hide those now, but I would like to reuse them in pre-provisioning so that I can say, okay, this is a kiosk device. Okay, boom. Because I don't really need the sort of self-deploying kind of capability, at least not in our environment. But what I need is a way to differentiate between, if we take a certain device, how are we going to be setting it up? Because how we are organized and structures, me managing all the central systems, I don't know what they are going to build, right? I mean, I can't tell them, go pick this device in the stock over there, because that's the one with the right sort of, backend configuration that would target the correct policies. And sure, we could build the really cool advanced process request type flow things that would render automation stuff that changes the backend configuration. I'm talking about group tags, for instance. But it just feels like so overwhelmingly complex for something that would be very, very, very simple to use, where we could bring in those device categories for the pre-provisioning flow. Because we pre-provision all our devices, even if they've been in stock, we take them out of stock, giving out, we pre-provision them again just to make sure that they're completely fresh and the user experience is good when we get out of it. So yeah, that's my rant on on that. No, we don't use it.
Cool. Yeah.
What about you then?
I've been using it very, very little. Actually, had a couple of schools where they use a school system where students need to go and check themselves in when they arrive to school, and then check out when they go home. And that's basically where I've been using these self-provisioning engines. Very, very basic touch screens that from time to time needs to be re-provisioned, and it's just automated and simple, like it.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So now we can use it, right? I mean, we've been able to use it. It's been in public preview for a long time, but GA now, that's good. Let's stay on the subject, right? Because, oh yeah, there is another text for pre-provisioning as well. But almost on the subject. There are some changes to the ESP.
Yeah, and it has also changed in here in the view.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't have to go up here and look enrollment status page. And if you click into that, go to properties and then edit, and you don't see it right away. You need to select an app. We can select an app here. And now you see it. Only fail selected blocking apps in technician mode. And technician mode, explain that. What is it?
I would say pre-provisioning, in my opinion.
Exactly. So technician phase is just another word for the worker who is going to do the pre-provisioning for you.
Yeah. But is this really new? I feel that this has been there for some time, right?
It has. It has. It's just went GA with the other features. That's what it says.
The GA announcement. It's tricking us.
And well, what is it doing? It's trying to install all apps. If you click it, yes. All required apps. If you click no, it's not trying to install all required apps, only the selected ones. Isn't that correct? I think that's how
I think that is actually a good feature, right? Because I mean, if you build up your list of application, and there might be some other targeting going on, but during your provisioning, you only want to install these things. But I haven't tested this for a while, but what happens after pre-provisioning then if there is an still required app not in the list when it gets into the user phase? Because sometimes it picks up that it's missing these things, and then it reboots into the sort of device setup phase in that default user 0 context and install those missing apps. Is that happening still if you select no there?
It would just install what's missing afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is obviously something that my recommendation is test it out. I believe we have our profile set to yes there. But I will have to go and look it up. In my opinion, it would just be like, select your apps. Those needs to be installed. Be done with it. I don't want to overcomplicate things, right? I can understand that there are a few scenarios where you might want to have some apps installed afterwards to speed things up, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. 3 features GA. That's
good
something.
stuff. And over to a completely different topic, drivers, right? Finally, may I say that, you can bulk approve them. I know in the private preview when we when I was a part of that, it was not fun to click through all of those drivers and approve them manually, one by one. It was tedious.
Yeah.
So how does it work now? How do you bulk approve them?
Let's go and look. I don't really have any recommended drivers, and that, of course, needs to. You need to have physical devices in your environment. I don't have that. I have another environment where I'm running AutoPatch, and I actually set the policy in AutoPatch not to auto approve drivers. I want to do that myself to make sure that I align that with when I have my windows for Windows updates as well. So when I have my quality update in that current ring, I would then approve my drivers to be able to be downloaded for that particular device in the same day. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm basically doing the auto patch myself for drivers. So I would go into other drivers here. I would be doing a bulk action and said, okay, I want to approve multiple drivers here, and it should be available on the day where I know this ring is targeted for quality updates as well. That could be the 16th. I will then click in and then select drivers to include. I can include everything. If I have more than 100 drivers, that's not gonna do it. You have to put only 100 drivers is supported right now in one batch here. So yeah, I would simply go
But
say,
let's say if you were to do this on a monthly basis, right? It's not, obviously it's going to depend on how many models and how much sort of equipment that you might have in your environment that would sort of, render this list of updates. But on a given date or on a monthly basis, I would not expect there to be over 100 new updates, right? Obviously, I mean, if you're like a one vendor shop and you have 10 different models, you shouldn't have 100 driver updates per month to go through. It
No.
doesn't sound reasonable. Maybe occasionally once it's something major happens, but then again, like I said, depending on if you are having 3 different vendors and you have thousands and thousands of devices, yeah, of course there could be a lot. But if you put this into a process, right? I mean, the way that we have gone about it, because after the bulk approval feature finally came out, we felt that okay, we can start using this for a control process where we have a few rings with at least one of the models in each of it. Have that sort of automatically approved so that we can just get those drivers installed on those, call them test devices, to sort of, I don't want to call it driver verification because we're not going to sit there and look and install each by one. We want to have as much as it automated, but we also want users to use these devices and have them sort of report if there's like a, I don't know, Wi-Fi driver issue where it just disconnects or something like that, or the touchpad stopped working for whatever reason. Then we can go back and say, okay, yeah, you're in this ring, you had an update to this specific driver here. That one is not going to be approved manually in the sort of production rollout in this. And what we are thinking here is more like you have these sort of testing policies with all those models that you want to have. And then when you feel that, okay, there's enough sort of testing that hasn't been any issues reported, then on a monthly basis, we will bulk approve anything new that needs to be updated. And that basically give us the capability of releasing it, so to speak, on Patch Tuesday, right? And hopefully that sort of, reduces the amount of drivers that's going to be installed on various, days of the week throughout the month, causing a lot of reboots and stuff. So I'm really glad about this feature.
Yeah,
I think it's a huge improvement from a process perspective of managing drivers.
absolutely agree. And well, this caught my eye. I have actually 2 NVIDIA driver updates here. I have on the it's an even release the same day, isn't it? So 4192, 4180. So I wouldn't take this one in this batch, for example, and then I would go ahead, say next, and save it. And now I have approved my drivers. They have been approved for that specific time to be accessible for when the Windows device out there is going to check against the Windows Update. It's going to ask the Windows Update for Business Deployment Service if there are any new drivers for it. And the day it's released, the Windows Update for Business Deployment Service is going to say, yeah, you can go and pick whatever you want from this nice table of eat yourself or serve yourself kind of it's nice. It's just nice. And it works instantly.
Good stuff. Yeah. Drivers is coming along pretty well as well. That's good. Customization pane support for excluding groups.
Oh yeah, customization. That's
that customization. Gotcha.
End user experience, right?
Yeah.
And now we have this policy down here where we can actually use user experience. Oh, sorry. Can't spell even. And now you have the possibility when you assign this also to exclude. That wasn't a possibility before. So now you can go ahead and assign something default and then exclude some certain devices or users, and then make sure they get another customization profile. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is for users only, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So if you were to assign it to devices, I'm pretty sure nothing really happens, if I remember correctly.
Maybe, maybe not. I've not tried it out. Sometimes it's yeah, you get surprised, but I would say users.
Cool. What's next? It's the enterprise application management. Is that the public preview, or?
I think we are into, we just need to mention that now it's not Intune Core anymore. We are looking into something called add-on service as a third-party app management tool from the Intune suite. It's also has its own license, right? But yeah, it's put into this Intune suite kind of product suite. And well, what can we do with it? We can certainly add applications, the Enterprise App Catalog app, where we can then select from a catalog. Right now, these are the apps we can pick and choose.
There's been a few good additions in here, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Google Drive. That's nice. Let's push that.
Logitune.
Is there Logitune? Yeah.
Yeah. It almost looked like somebody had misspelled Intune with a capital T. That's why my eyes caught it.
Look at that. .NET. We talked about .NET, right? Get that out.
Yep.
Firefox. Oh, and we talked about that for the customer ADMX import.
And there's your NVIDIA GeForce Experience update. So perfect. You can go manage that as well.
Yeah. And a lot of, well, doesn't this cost a license? I think so, right?
They certainly do.
Yeah. So a lot of applications, and then we can simply, yeah, let's take the NVIDIA, shouldn't we?
Of course.
Input that into your environment. Click next. It's going to show you if there are more languages or more architectures to actually select. And then what you're going to see here is almost the Win32 import experience. You can add categories to your app. You need to select the logo. And once that's done, you can click next, and then you would be able to see the install command, uninstall command. I can even set whatever you can on Win32 apps. You see here, it's not just the normal return codes. It's been minimized to only 2 here.
Yep.
Still supporting Windows 10 1607, which is out of support. But nevertheless, 2 things to do for the rule format. I think it's better safe than sorry, so that's really, really good. Scope tag if you are using RBAC, and then add the application, and you're done. Just wait for the application to come down and be put into your portal. Now what, Nikolai? I have an app that I need to update. How do I figure out if there is a newer app that I already imported from this?
Well, there's a blade for it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
I don't remember, but it was my feedback. Yo, there.
It's under the other. Remember that.
I had actually forgotten where they ended up putting it.
Yeah, let's rebrand this to Nikolai. There, okay.
Yeah.
And just as you said, what is this?
It's basically, I mean, I felt initially in the preview when I was looking at this together with Microsoft that, I mean, it's great that because the kind of current capabilities helps you to create an application, right? What if you need to understand, okay, if there is a new version of the NVIDIA GeForce experience that you just made, that you just sort of packaged, right, using the catalog information available, which is essentially the core feature here, is my opinion at least, that you get those install command lines and you have the detection logic and those kind of rules set up. So it's just the next click for you. But then comes the next sort of lifecycle management aspect of this. So there's a new version, right? Wouldn't you want to have that available, or at least understand, is there a new version? Because we know software, there's always going to be new versions out there. And that's basically what this blade is. It just gives you an idea, is there a new version for you to go and do precisely the same process that we just showed you here, that you need to go package that up and deal with it. What's missing, though, in my opinion, still is to sort of automatically update this application on all devices where it's currently installed, the actual patching kind of experience and workflow. Maybe that's in the upcoming features. We will just have to see. But that is the sort of core stuff, in my opinion, that's still tedious and time consuming, right? I mean, if I were to have that capability, I would go purchase this add-on tomorrow or maybe today. Not myself, though, but the organization I work for. But I feel like this is a good start. It's definitely valuable. The catalog needs to be expanded a bit more to cover way more applications, of course. But yeah, it's exciting. Let's see where we end up with this for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely. It piqued my interest just to see the Chrome for Business here. What is the latest version? Is this really the latest version?
I'm pretty sure it's not, because it's the latest version of what is available in the catalog that Microsoft is offering with this service.
Let's see. Can we easily get it? This was not something I prepared. I just wanted to see if I could see it right away. Do I really need to download it? Stable.
If you're using Chrome.
64-bit.
It says there 123 something.
Yeah, exactly. And what did I have in the console? 122.06. Okay, it's a bit behind.
It's a bit behind, but I mean, it's also a very specific application type that you took, right? The browser. It's updated on a tremendous fast pace, I would say, right? I mean, if you were to look at 7-zip or other like Audacity or those kind of applications, I would expect the catalog to be closer to the truth, if you understand what I mean. Right?
Do you dare?
The latest version, hopefully.
Shall we try?
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Download for Windows. Yay!
Ooh, nice.
It's up to date.
And I just want to make a point here as well. I understand every environment is different, but I would never really recommend packaging these browsers like this and manually pushing out these updates, because the browsers themselves have tremendously good update mechanisms within themselves, that I would rather use a policy to enforce the behavior of that update engine to control it themselves, right? So that the browser is responsible for making sure that you're running it. Maybe make use of the notifications where if the user is currently using it and there's a new version that comes out, maybe you can give them the notification, the built-in stuff, for instance, in Edge or Chrome, that, oh, there's a new version. You need to restart your browser within X amount of given time, right? And all those things are customizable. That's my recommendation when it comes to browsers, at least.
Cool.
Good stuff. Let's get to the last topic here. I was a little bit fast before, but that's advanced analytics.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of PA announcements over the past couple of months, right?
Absolutely. It's hard to follow. But basically, what we get in Intune Advanced Analytics that has been announced is a battery health. So you get that across all your devices, and I think that is pretty neat because battery health is something.
Sorry, it's all black. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Is that your black sort of or dark mode thing?
It's my dark mode.
Oh.
But
I thought we discussed these things like way back in the preview of the new device experience, didn't we? Where it was all over the place with the buttons being white and blue, and
we did. But yeah,
it's time
I
to
don't
use
have any.
the button again.
I don't have any devices. I could make it white, but come on, I like it this way. I really like it this way. So we need to make some better UI for this to make sure I can run my black mode here. But nevertheless, battery health, Nikolai, that's pretty neat, right? Across thousands of devices to make sure that you have your hardware lifecycle management, and you can make sure that end users don't have a poor battery life, which often tends to be a poor user experience.
Absolutely. I mean, those insights they are, I would say, extremely valuable from a larger perspective, right? I mean, it could be contract disputes or whatever, anything like that. And without going into that much of a detail, I mean, I have experience with that. So, I mean, we had to build our custom sort of analytics engine around it to understand what is it looking like in this environment over here, and what is the truth, right? So the battery health, it's been under development for a very long time. I remember, maybe was it even back in the early 2023, or maybe even further back. I tested it out. So I'm really glad that that's available now. It's a really good feature. It gives you some insights to data that you may have thought that you didn't even need, but battery life and battery health is one of our top priorities of making sure that our users have a good experience, right?
Yeah. That's definitely something. And then there was also another announcement under this kind of hat, and that was the device query. And we've known from a long time working with Intune that it's not the fastest if you want to have some results back, is it? So you would have this normal process of 8 hours processing time to have your devices sync. Of course, you can push a sync towards the device, and other mechanisms is also going to make sure that that device is syncing back as fast as possible. But now we have this device query where you can actually do much more live, get live information from your clients in certain areas. And that's pretty nice. We did have it in Config Manager as well. CM Pivot. So if you co-manage your environment, you can still just use CM Pivot if you want. But where I see companies go is for more simple management, and that would be Intune only. So having the device query is definitely a step in the right direction here.
Yeah.
Have you used it?
I completely agree. I used it in the preview, and I can, without saying too much, this is the start of something that I think is going to be very exciting. And I'll leave you with that bombshell, basically. But what we should also just mention that, like the stuff that we have talked about right now, the advanced endpoint analytics and the battery health and the enterprise application management and device query, all of these are covered within their additional add-ons that are specifically licensed in addition to what if you're on Intune P1 license right now. So keep that in mind. And these are features that you would have to pay additional money for. But nevertheless, still good features, absolutely. So it's exciting for sure.
Yeah. I look forward to that. Right? That's all. I just have one small topic I would like to highlight, and that's James Robinson. He tried out the new baseline.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I just wanted to get it out here also because the new baseline for 23H2, you might want to test it out on a couple of devices because we see that some customers are not able to log on to the device after applying it. And it is because of, well, the security baseline is putting in the actual name of it instead of using the SID like you would normally do. So when you have another localized a lib interface package or something like that, it's not properly applying to your device, and then
I'm sorry, we've been sitting here and saying so many good things about the work and change that's coming, but this is completely, utterly bad. Lack of words. I don't know. This is a major. No, I should not swear. I think this is just, come on. It should be being reverted and reworked as soon as possible, because there's definitely people out there not running the English version of Windows for sure, where it would break.
So do not assign this to all devices.
Yep, good call out, Matthias.
Yeah.
I think that's really worth mentioning. So now we have been positive, we have been a little bit negative. Maybe it's time to round it up then.
I think so. It's been a good round again, Nikolai. Lots of new great features as well in Intune, and yeah, the product just keeps pushing, and it's nice to see.
Absolutely, and I was just reminded about something. Maybe we could announce it here then, that we are going to look into doing these videos for covering Mac OS as well in the future. So if you're also doing Mac OS, I mean, I'm not going to be the main person there, or maybe not you either, Matthias. We are not the most experienced or skilled Mac OS users, but we will host it with a very specific and very well experienced person that we have invited to this series. So stay tuned for that if you're working with Mac OS and want to manage those devices with Intune. We're going to cover the same things for that topic as well.
That's very exciting, and
cool. And I promise to try and clean up some more in the back of here.
Please do.
For the next video.
Please do.
Please do. You can come up here and help me then.
Well, Nikolai, it was awesome.
See you. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a good day.
Have a good day.